When one thinks of riding in British Columbia, the first places one might think about is Whistler, or the North Shore, or maybe even Squamish. And while these places truly are fantastic, they do have an unfair advantage. They're all located within 90 minutes or less from the city of Vancouver and its international airport. If you were to get a taste of riding in Canada, these would be the most convenient places to visit. But BC is a big province, and these places near Vancouver are just a fraction of what BC has to offer.
That's better.
So while the North Shore, Squamish, and Whistler do have some of the best riding in the world, I also would have to add the city of Nelson to the list. Located about 8 hours away from Vancouver, it's just a small town with about 10,000 people. But this tiny town is surrounded by massive mountains. And since they've been building trail here since the 90s, it's got a trail network that would be the envy of a city many times its size. And since the trails have been around so long, the building style out here is decidedly old school. Now don't get me wrong, they've got a few machine-built flow trails here which are great, but the real gems here are the steep, long, raw, feature-filled descents. So one Sunday morning, we headed out to explore a riding area called Mountain Station. Our first target was a trail called Slingshot. And see that blue square just below the sign? Keep that in mind. And soon, our first feature.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah, North. Nice. That's it.
It's downhill. Damn.
Jonathan cleared this thing his first try. And our second feature.
I can't believe this trail is blue.
Our second trail, Fat Chance, has another one of those blue squares indicating its difficulty. Intermediate? These ratings are what have become known as the Nelson Blue. And if you haven't caught on yet, the trail ratings are severely sandbagged. In most places around the world, these trails would be black or even double black. But in Nelson, the locals consider them blue, and I kind of love that. In fact, all of these features are on trails with blue squares at the trailhead. Though it was nice of them to put this obvious black diamond on this one. But in fact, some of the coolest trails here are these Nelson Blues. We probably spent 20 minutes here working on this set of drops to step down jump.
Corner comes up fast, huh? Oh, and then that.
As it turned out, it was pretty easy to overshoot the step down.
Whoa! Okay, I went pretty far.
But with this new information, things went a little better on the second attempt. And although skinnies seem to have gone out of fashion in most other places, they really do seem to love them out here in the Kootenays. Enough to turn them into drops. These two are called midterm and final exam. Midterm is pretty chill, with not much study required. But the final? Well, failure here would be detrimental to your future in mountain biking. Luckily, Tim and Trevor passed with flying colors. So if the blues are really black, what are the harder trails like? Well, over on Kootenay Lake's North Shore, they've got some pretty spicy stuff, in the flavor of rock slabs. And Nootsack has got to be one of Nelson's spiciest. And once you drop in, you're straight into it. But as if the slabs weren't enough, a bit of woodwork was added to up the ante.
Oh my, oh I don't like that, it's a big head.
Apparently this slab was deemed too small, so it was given a wooden addition to add a few more chili peppers to the mix. The scariest slab for me by far was on a trail just down the road called Dos Slabs, or a dozen slabs. And yes, while the trail did seem to have 12 slabs of varying difficulty,
Easy. Yeah.
Nice.
You.
Easy.
it was the last one that was the hardest for me to commit to. The tree at the entrance did not help matters.
Oh, come on.
But after about a dozen run-ins,
Oh, I was almost there.
success.
Now, finally. It only took like 10 attempts.
A little further down the road is a trail called Slabalanche. And with a name like that, how could I say no?
Yeah, go walk.
The starting feature wasn't overly confidence-inspiring though.
Nice big space here. It works.
But as the trail wound around the mountain, linking up all the slabs, we came across the gnarliest on the trail.
This is the one I didn't do last time.
It started off not too bad, but as you continue down, it becomes off camber.
Because this slab, it looks like it wants to push you into that rock. Yeah, I think if you stay on camber, you'll probably make it.
Antoine thinks he's got it though.
Yeah, right now it's a little rough.
We were so distracted by the slab, we didn't consider the run out. Lower down, we found another slab with an equally sketchy run out. Especially for the ultra dry conditions we found ourselves in. But all these trails are relatively short by Nelson standards. The town is surrounded by big mountains, and they use them. Drive 45 minutes up Toad Mountain, and you'll be rewarded with a 4,000-foot descent filled with pretty much everything. Loamy single track off the top, hair-raising gravel chutes, interesting woodwork, and what has to be one of the coolest ladder bridges ever. After that, you can drop into bed frame, a slow tech trail filled with slabs. From there, you can roll into the machine-built flow trails of Turnstile and Lefty. But the biggest descent on a single trail has to be Shannon Pass on the other side of the lake. The drive up to the top is already a mission, but once you're up there, it's a 3,000-foot descent of unbroken single track top to bottom. Make sure your brakes are in good working order because you're going to be using them the whole way down. Ever since I visited Nelson for the first time 7 years ago, it's held a special place in my heart. A town nestled on the shores of Kootenay Lake, surrounded by big mountains littered with trails, and with a population of people stoked to ride, it's hard to go wrong with this combination. And even though it's 8 hours from Vancouver, it's why I try to come back at least once a year. It's just that good. And remember all those blue square trails? Well, as this video is being made, the local club is updating their ratings for many of those trails to single blocks. Those blue squares can still be seen at the trailheads though. But, as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.